Weston Higgins,
Corporal U.S. Marines,
Dante Marshall,
Lieutenant U.S. Navy,
Tanya Z,
Sergeant Major U.S. Army,
Xavier Clark,
Staff Sergeant U.S. Marines.
deployed to fight an unpredictable enemy.
We're here in Manhattan. We brought our team in here today to shut down that business right over there.
You're an accomplice to a felony.
Why are you running scams?
Get the camera out of my face.
Don't put that camera in my face!
This guy is basically breaking laws left and right.
Television's most enduring, ratings-boosting genre
I want to talk to you about the customers that you've been ripping off.
is taken to a heroic new level.
Didn't bother you whatsoever that what you guys have been doing is illegal? I have no idea why they're sticking by this man.
These people, they're experts at fraud. We're experts at detecting fraud.
5 American veterans
Dante, where they at?
are now a force to be reckoned with.
You know we're not some news crew that's gonna go away.
Stop trespassing! Get out of my store now!
We're not leaving your store until we figure this out.
I found out through Monster.com.
He told me to bring in $250.
There is a certification fee of $250.
You know,
They've found 12 so far, and I prevailed in all 12 cases.
With all the people that he screwed over, I guarantee that there's a gun in that desk. Get the evidence we need and shut him down.
my name is Anthony. I'm calling about the Craigslist ad.
The opening for bartending?
Got my fake ID right here. Maurice Bailey. Clearly not me, but give it a go.
He's got his camera on. We're going to be able to see and hear what he's hearing. There's a lot of laws that you've been breaking.
I haven't been breaking any laws.
You cannot hire people for a period of time without paying them.
You guys charged me $200 to run a security check. I said I was a felon. I gave no license, no resume, no anything, and you guys still gave me a certificate. How is that an honest business?
Emmy Award-winning Studio City
Ladies might want to brace yourselves for this.
introduces a new brand of justice.
We got him breaking labor laws, health department laws.
Hearing about the experiences that your undercovers had, our goal is to shut the business down.
We got them scared right now. They will no longer use New York as their ATM machine. We're shutting them down.
There was a time and a place where when you did something, you did it well. That's reality. Unfortunately, I think nowadays we do things just to do them and to say I did it and to check it off the bucket list. I think history becomes important because there was a time when you did something and you did it to the best of your ability. There was pride in it. And we've lost that.
For over 20 years, one man has turned his love of the past into some of the most revered automotive passion projects.
My name's Jebediah Skolman. I'm from Salcha, Alaska, 50 miles east of Fairbanks. Log cabin, no running water, no electricity. I took a job in the port of LA. I do that for 10 hours a day. I get off at 3 in the morning. But when I get off, I come here. Far back as I can remember, I always wanted a shop. The name of my shop's Jeb's Metal and Speed. If you switch them, it'd be Speed Metal. I either need to be building history or putting my take on history. You look at a time period and you can replicate it exactly, or you can put yourself in that era. Say, I'm in 1928. What would I be doing in that time period? Everything I do is either mechanical, it's the old way, or it's the difficult way.
He's now become the go-to fabricator to bring cars that were forever lost back to life.
A while back, I built a retake on a famous dragster, the Vulcan's Vicky. 36 Ford tail dragger. The clean Westergaard style is what I was after. And that car kind of put me on the map. So I got the call from a gentleman to build the Stutz Blackhawk. That's huge. An opportunity you don't pass up. Historically, it's probably the most significant land speed car of all time. The Stutz Blackhawk was built by a guy named Frank Lockhart. He came onto the racing scene in the 20s and was a household name. He wrecked on the beach and died at 25 years old. He flung out of the car 50 feet, died in front of his wife, and we've kind of forgotten his name. It's a lost piece of history. There is no car. It was trash, and I'm sure they scrapped it. If you look at the car, everything is way ahead of its time. We don't have every view. You don't have every angle. They didn't take pictures as a source of reference for later. They took pictures to document the event. So the photos you have, which are limited, a lot of times there might be people standing in the way. You might look through 20 photos just to try and figure out what the hood blister looked like because there's lighting, shadows, somebody standing in front of it, size references. In real life, it may not flow that way, but your eye tells you what's right and wrong. You eat it, you sleep it, you dream it, you think about it constantly. Wouldn't it be cool if we built Burt Monroe's bike, the Monroe Special? And I thought, well, if you want to use the new Indian motor, let's build our 2013 take on that. What would Burt build today if Burt was around? Indian Motorcycles thought it was a good idea and gave me the green light. It was probably the funnest thing I've ever built. The passion project I have right now, the one I want to build, is my take on a Malcolm Campbell car. Make it a little bit smaller, make it a little more contemporary, put my twist on it. It's got to be built. I've had this car in my head for quite some time now. The feeling of satisfaction of doing it yourself trumps pretty much everything. There's pride of ownership, and then there's the pride of doing. Nobody writes a book about the guy who owned something. We tell stories about the guy who did something.
Racing history. On October 26th, one man will have the power to solve the crime of the century. Or, with the stroke of his pen, choose not to. This fall, all of JFK's assassination files are finally due to be declassified, but a presidential order threatens to keep them sealed. The investigative research of 6 journalists has begun dismantling the Warren Commission report and its single gunman theory. A conclusion doubted by senators, first ladies, presidents, even by the very president who paid to have the commission commissioned.
Others could have been wrong.
DC insiders have questioned its legitimacy for years.
I have serious doubts that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
Witnesses are set for exclusive new interviews, and never-before-revealed evidence will drive a viewer-immersive social media campaign to get JFK's files opened.
See that fella's picture by the bed? Yes, sir. You can thank the Air Force budget. Boy, sir, this is obviously a fuck-up.
Over 300 pieces of aggregated evidence most Americans have never seen. A congressional reinvestigation determined the killing was a conspiracy. The House had scientific proof 2 gunmen were involved, yet most of us never heard about it.
It was not broadcast at the president's request on the grounds, he said, of national security.
The war within the White House, and why experts suspect the president was killed by the vice president, Lyndon Johnson.
LBJ, he never likes to be number 2.
We've uncovered photos of LBJ being sworn in as president right after the murder, then seconds later exchanging a wink and disturbing smile. And Jackie reveals what JFK once told her.
Oh God, can you ever imagine what would happen to the country if Lyndon was president?
Why did the guy Kennedy fired for fumbling the CIA get hired by Johnson to lead JFK's murder investigation? And what led Johnson to sign this executive order preventing records from being seen for 66 years? Plus this from the Dallas police chief.
By the direction of the blood and brain from the president from one of the shots, it would just seem that it would have to be fired from the front rather than behind.
I looked at the wound again, and the rest of my life I will always know he was shot from the front.
Never before seen images, new evidence, new interviews, a new immersive format. LBJ killed JFK and the 7 other likely suspects. The binge-watch worthy docuseries, available this fall.
It's like God's cathedral up here. I mean, it couldn't be more beautiful.
The world's longest cul-de-sac. End of the road, 68 miles in, turn around and headed back out.
You don't have anything up here. You don't have anything. There's no grocery store, no gas station.
You can't buy anything up here.
You don't see any Albertsons around here.
I probably could survive for 6 months to a year without having to go to the store.
cell phones don't work.
We're off the grid completely.
We're dealing with creek water for drinking.
Oh, how Atlanta gets its electricity, this is it. Hopefully we'll get another 100 years out of it.
A lot of people do not have running water, and I use the outhouse. So when I wake up in the morning and it's 15 degrees below zero, it's like, wow, do I really want to be up here?
We police the place ourselves.
And we do what we have to do. We have to do what we have to do.
We all stockpile our ammunition, our guns.
That should tell you something there.
If somebody comes in here and tries to break into a house, people in this town will jump in and take care of it. Yeah. And I guarantee it that, they would have a bad day.
Show up here in December.
Avalanches that are massive.
You got snow all around.
In the winter, if you can't get in and out, you need to get out of here, and you can't.
Storms start coming out of the Gulf of Alaska. We usually get hammered in October, November, December, January, February, March.
Power had gone out, phones had gone out.
9 people have died this year. 9 people this year have died in Atlanta or on the way to Atlanta or going back from Atlanta. The mill guy told me that. It's another dead guy on the road. And so that's 9 for this year. I'm like, for this year? Really?
You got to make sure those folks are okay.
And if you don't see them, you're asking questions.
We'll go out and try to look for you.
Everybody watches out for everybody.
We all come together, we get it done, we help the person or whatever, and then we just go back to hating.
Somebody's got to stir a little something up.
This gets a little bitchy around here.
Yeah, this guy is a fucking prick. This guy is a fucking prick.
You can take Bob out of Chicago, but you can't take Chicago out of Bob.
This man will hunt you down and kill you.
There was 5,000 people living in this town back in the mining days.
But we haven't had as many move in as we have had pass away.
Now it's just 25 of us.
Atlanta needs help.
There's 25 of us. We're a family, whether we like it or not.
You're not very happy.
That's my motorhome. I go.
The guy that's living in the bread truck, we don't need to get into that.
I'm one of the happiest guys you ever met in your life.
And said he was gonna kill me. Well, that's not a good thing to say.
Most of the people realize I'm not going to confront you because you probably have a gun.
They're gonna come try and take our guns, my Second Amendment. Don't mess with that.
It's just in our nature to survive.
You don't make somebody mad who knows where all the bodies are buried.
Quite the adventure, burying people around here.
So if you think you want to move up here,
Really, you're just asking for trouble. Saw him come, saw him go.